Hello and welcome to Beats, Rhymes and Life podcast. I'm Shakira.
I'm Ash.
One and only Viz.
And we've got a special guest today, guys.
Well, not so special. He's like part of the furniture, really.
I am the furniture.
You can't really call him a guest in his own studio. It doesn't seem right.
That's true. He's guested on the podcast?
Yeah.
There we go. He's not a guest to the
Savage
studio,
Dan.
he's a guest to us now.
Yeah.
Is it still savage?
Sensible Dan.
Sensible Dan. I was waiting for the
I've
change.
not seen much of the sensibilities.
Haven't you?
No.
No, man.
I feel like I've
Dan's
changed
making some transitions.
Making
in life.
strides.
Yeah, if you've watched me in the last 2 months, I've changed everything. I'm not even there. I don't exist no more.
Is it?
You have to see me to see me. It's just that you lot see me all the time.
No, when I first heard you on, I think it was 3 shots, I was like, this guy's
Yeah.
He is
character.
But do you know
wild.
what? I had, you see, like, my personality lets me just be a bit wild. So back then there was no cameras. I don't know why everyone's bringing cameras onto podcasts and that now. And
Got to diversify, man.
What's going on? So now I can't talk my wickedness because
There's a
there's a face.
But you put yourself out there
I didn't.
a while ago, though.
I didn't though.
You did?
I got leaked.
Yeah, he got...
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when you was talking all that, like, no, that's it, I'm going out there. Like, I'm
Yeah,
putting
because
myself
now
out.
they
'Cause you got
they
leaked.
already
I
knew.
woke up with like 300 like ads
Wow. On Insta.
because I went on Filthy Fellas and they put I'm Savage Dan and all the YouTube comments were, oh my, like it's
This
like
is
he
him.
exists. Like I thought he was just an app. Like, yeah. So
How is Filthy Fellas? I know you lot have kind of made some progress.
I'm just concentrating more on the music thing right now than football, man. I don't even really like football like that right now.
Oh, Chelsea
Because
fan.
you're a Chelsea fan, innit? Yeah.
I feel like an Arsenal fan.
Arsenal.
Nice one. I see you. Apart from the millions and millions and millions of pounds spent, yeah.
Do you know
But let's
what?
not turn this into a sports
Yeah,
podcast.
yeah, let's not. But
Let's
just
not
say,
do that.
We've switched roles. Arsenal have become what Chelsea were 15 years ago, and Chelsea have become what Arsenal were 15 years ago.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So you said you're focusing on the music, obviously, DB. How's that going as well?
It's alright. It's alright, isn't it? Like, these lot make tunes every day. When I say, like, I live on this, everyone lives in the same. If I was to scream out my window, Deli will hear me, Ash will hear me, Skits will hear me, Els will hear me. Like,
Yeah.
everyone lives in that close proximity.
yeah.
Obviously, Els is with Wstrn.
Yeah.
And them three typically are DB, not me. Like, no, I am DB. But
you're
there is
not like a
this,
main...
it's an umbrella thing.
Yeah, yeah,
DB
yeah.
and then there's DB sound system.
Okay.
So DB like was 15 years ago.
Them man linking up.
Just yeah, I can't really explain it, but it was just one of those things where it's them and them kind of thing.
Yeah.
And then musically, it's DB sound system, but that's them three
Okay.
realistically.
And then it's features sometimes.
Yeah,
on
as in
other
like
guys on it,
I quit music years ago.
So
like that. I couldn't really.
So do you see yourself more as an architect type of figure in the background?
Do you know
or-
what? Yeah, I love, for as outrageous as I am, yeah, I love music. Like I love music, but I hate the bullshit that comes with music.
Yeah.
So I don't want to be famous.
Okay.
But people will want me to be famous.
Because of your personality.
your
though.
nature, it
But there's better people
gravitates
like me.
towards that.
It conflicts
But
with
there's
what you're
better
saying.
out like.
When you say
spoken-
like you mean as in there's people who are
Personable.
yeah, like
I
but
meet them every day, but I'm just one that is like plugged into the music industry, so I should be
That guy.
famous or whatever it is. But I don't want it. I like the part of making the song in the studio, and then after that point, I don't really want too much to do with it.
yeah.
I don't mind a little bit of adulation and a little bit of whatever it is, but too much of it, and I just start. I can't be trusted.
I was waiting for the point. I knew it was going somewhere.
Yo,
Like, this is a
Flatbush,
self-defense mechanism. Like I cannot be famous. Innit? Like I'll be in the mirror, the
You
sun.
crash and burn.
There's just no point me being famous. I need to go buy a house in St. Albans and stay off ends and just watch everyone else.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, like, in terms of, obviously, you said it was more of like a collective that started about 15 years ago.
Yeah.
Like, have you seen a change in terms of how the music industry was from obviously then till now? Obviously, we've noticed in the last year a lot of people are getting a lot more, how we say, label.
There's a lot of single deals floating around.
Yeah, that's all there is now. I think, do you know what? The streaming game, like old school, you remember 10 years ago you had pirate radio. No one was really profiting from music apart from, I don't know, Heartless did a thing, So Solid might have done a thing, but it was like very small amounts of artists that were making money from music from our scene.
Yeah, definitely.
Everyone else was paying money. You just go on radio, you're paying £5 or whatever it is. Like you're paying to be a musician. You know what I'm saying? You're recording out of youth clubs or whatever. Back then there wasn't that many home studios or just studios in general. So it was mad organic, and like I'm torn between the two worlds. So it's like this one, it's like everyone does sound the same. Yes, everyone can make tunes in 3 minutes and make better, and you can hear it in the music. You can hear it in the music. That was just a throwaway tune. You can hear it, but because of radio now, all these A&Rs are radio hosts. So it's an instant plug. So it's in their interest to play your song. And if you've got a national radio like Capital, Kiss, blah blah blah, and you're one of the DJs on there, and you're an A&R, it's in your interest. It is, but it's not. So it's weird because it is a conflict of interest, because you end up playing not what you like, but just what works best for whatever your situation is. So the music, like, I don't think there's any doubt in it. Like the music's it's changing, but it's getting worse.
100%.
Like
there's not as much purity in it.
Artistry is dead at the moment. Artistry is actually dead.
I think it's dead on a mainstream level. On an independent level is where all the creativity is right now.
Creativity and artistry will never die underground, but it's not. But
it's also, I think it's changed as well because of stuff like social media. People buy a lot more into the whole product than just the song. You know what I'm saying? Back then, I felt like there wasn't social media. You could be whoever you were in your life.
You didn't have to put across an image.
Your song had to bang. You know what I'm saying? For the song to bang.
Stormzy's a perfect example.
Exactly. But
people buy into him as a brand rather than. It helps if the music's good as well. Don't get me wrong. But
now you can get away with having a big brand and okay music, and you'll still fill stadiums. You'll sell tickets. You'll do everything. So
like Cardi B.
I rate Cardi B.
Like Cardi B.
You don't like her?
Artistically, or
I think did you see what she did on Finesse? Battered it like she was Foxy Brown.
I wouldn't go that far. It was cool,
smashed it,
but it didn't really like.
She didn't add to the song.
It didn't add to the song. It was cool. What she did,
but if you look back, look at those tunes that had those 8 bars at the beginning and then the 15.
That's what I would say to is. That's what I liked about it.
Tune, but it was just
the formula is great, but to me, you could have put anyone there and it would have had the same.
That was the thing.
I think the way she flipped up the flow and went at that point, I was like, what? She did what? Do you know what? I didn't know she had that in her locker.
It's interesting
ad-libs
that
on the chorus were the best bit.
It's interesting that you say that, because I've listened to it more like in the last 2 weeks than I did when it initially came out, and I find myself bopping to it, because at first, I'm not gonna lie, I was like, what's this girl doing, man? They need to get her out,
you need to get Cardi off this song.
But what? It works. Like, it works, innit? In terms of
I like Finesse, the original. I like the original anyway.
I love the whole album.
Yeah,
I like the package. I like the whole thing. Like, I just think she's the real thing. Like, whatever all these like Nicki Minaj and that are attempting to be, she's the actual authentic. Like, she was really a stripper, and she's really out here. And she will really swing it out. And you know what I'm saying? Like, I just feel like
that's the thing why I said that. Like, musically, I can't rate her, but I have to appreciate what she's doing, and she's doing it. Like, more power to her. Like, just keep going, innit? But then on the other hand, I feel like she should never be nominated for a Grammy. She shouldn't be touching this kind of stuff.
I think her personality makes us believe that she's not as good musically as she is.
No,
I paid. Oh, so I never listened to Mickey.
She was rapping better before she got on. If you know what I mean.
Because now she's doing the gimmicky thing.
What was it, that tune with is it Be-Easy or G-Easy? One of them.
G-Easy.
And she spanned someone out of their seat. Like, was Nicki?
It was Nicki.
Nicki can't. Nicki needs to just put the arm around the
Nicki
fallen
is
off,
no longer
man.
a rapper. Nicki doesn't have bars. I've been saying it for like a year.
You see what I'm saying?
Nicki's
So
got no bars.
I'm just looking at what there is in comparison female-wise. Obviously, she's not going to rap.
But then it's just the
then it's
best
not-
of a bad bunch.
Yeah.
And this is
That's the
thing.
problem.
But that's because the levels overall, I think, are...
Yeah, low. Yeah.
But that's also because, as a female MC, it's hard for you to get up there if you're not doing the gimmicky thing or you're not doing the over-sexualized thing. Or
Yeah.
do you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
It's a discussion that we've had quite a number of times.
Yeah.
In terms of, for me, the man that, like you said, the man them are gotta want to smash, and then the girls are gotta want to be like you.
But at the same time, I think guys have the same, not pressure, but as in, if you look at rappers here, the rappers that are probably...
They gotta be a bit more...
You need to have done something, man. Like, I don't want to hear you talking wickedness.
Do you know what it is? I listen to...
I need some proof, man.
I listen to NFTRs quite regularly, and it's like...
Yeah, they've been more consistent.
They've been more consistent
confused,
recently, but even just hearing certain people's like the background to even like Mark's and obviously his situation. Obviously, we've known about Mark's forever. Like Mark's has kind of
forever,
been the
from school
cornerstone
times.
of the whole UK rap scene, and it's like whether or not there wins or losses, people want to attribute something to you that is authentic in it. So with him, he's got the whole LF in it, affiliation or what have you. Just personally, I wanted to kind of ask you, is there anyone from the UK that you kind of say would stand out from the rest? Because obviously you said Cardi kind of like cuts through in terms of she's a clear...
You mean this year or just in general?
Just in general.
I think Scraps.
I like Scraps.
Yeah,
I'm a bit biased.
Scraps.
You're biased.
Yeah. But
no, Scraps is... I like Scraps personally.
Like, I think a lot of these rappers sound the same. And it's an alright sound. I'm not saying like you sound shit, but I do think it's hard to differentiate between a lot of rappers.
Definitely.
You can't emulate his thing is so lazy. It's in his personality. Like, it's... You see, like, there's like... I always say with rappers, I don't like rappers that hit every beat on the beat. Like,
I'm glad you said that, guys.
There's windows, there's like a window where you're allowed to spit in between, and if you go too early, it makes you sound a little bit too poppy and a bit polished or whatever. But if you like, obviously, once you're past that side of the window, you're now a shit and a beat rapper.
Yeah.
Scraps lives on that edge.
Yeah,
he raps at the absolute last moment he can rap.
Yeah. We've been
And
saying that,
we've been saying that for so
Yeah.
long, because it's like I was listening to Fredo's tape yesterday, and there were so many examples on that, and some of them lived on the right side, and
some of them really did not.
What I will say is you can tell that he hasn't been rapping for long, whereas Scraps has obviously been doing what he's done for such a long time.
Between 80s Baby and then other projects, and then his actual albums, even though he's always, I think he's had his thing like pat down, but you can tell there's just improvements bit by bit.
And also it's changed,
at
140. Like, I always said that was the acid test, innit? Realistically, like anyone, I'll be honest with you, like, I'm an engineer and I'll probably spin a lot of rappers. I'm being serious. I'm being dead serious. I will spin a lot, but anyone can really rap at 90, 100, 110, 120.
You don't need to be
not
special.
difficult.
Yeah.
Not difficult. Do it at 140. And Scraps did it at 140.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So that, I think, gives you an added
element to you.
Like, you just are better with just what you just know what you can do.
Do you know what it is? I think a lot of people don't necessarily take in. Obviously, you're someone that loves music. Like, I don't think a lot of people take in more from a technical aspect when they listen to rappers. So for me,
that is a big problem for me. But yeah, go on.
For me, when I hear like, especially from the UK, because obviously everything kind of sounds very much the same. Like, it's hard to differentiate who is actually like good from who is just along for the ride.
I think the rest is just your energy. Like, I know I rate Mo Stack.
Do you know what the thing is? I was listening to Miss album yesterday, and what Mo Stack did on Uber, I was like, I get it. I get it.
He's just got a wave, and I can't explain it. I can't even really tell you why I like it, but I like it.
Yeah.
Same with, I don't know, Huss, obviously.
Yeah.
Huss is, I rate it, and it's not difficult to make that kind of music, but he does it consistently well.
And it's different. What he's done is kind of taking it to the left a little bit, even though like there's others doing a kind of similar sound. I think he's kind of made it his own.
A slight innovation, and then everyone else will follow what Huss is doing.
It's like that though, because obviously you have patterns and waves, so obviously that's prevalent right now. In terms of drill music, how do you feel about the drill scene?
It bores me, if I'm honest. It does. And I'm not trying to tell everyone to not drill. In fact, I am. But I get it. I do get it. Like, I know what it is out there, but it's like, I feel like it's an even more basic version of grime.
Yeah,
it is.
It's 145
and
BPM usually, and it's like
very mellow.
Honestly, some of the sentences I hear,
it's mad.
I just think you can do better than that, bro.
Do you know what?
I feel like they can't.
Maybe they can't.
I feel like they actually can't.
It is the simplest form of music.
You know what?
It's very badly mixed as well.
UK drill reminds me of Terminator freestyles.
Alright.
but worse. So Terminator was at least entertaining.
This is not a road that I'm really.
That's fine. I'm going down there. But that's what it reminds me of.
Please don't do this.
Nah, but I get it.
That's what it's like. But then the other side of the drill thing for me is that all these areas are like fully beefing in their music. They're talking about
I'm not gonna lie.
shit.
You know what it is? That's why I don't disagree with drill music, because drill music is
war cries.
It's war cries.
Yeah,
it is. You know what I'm saying? So it's you. Like, no one makes drill music and talks about nice stuff.
Nah.
You know what I'm saying? It's always an op. But I just think their vocabulary could get better. You know what I'm saying? It's just the same tune over and over.
I think there's a few that kind of do it and do it well. There's been a few tracks I've heard.
I like what he.
See, I don't listen to it, so I'm not well educated on drill.
No, I get shit.
But as in, I just hear it here, there, and everywhere. As in, and it's always sounded the same, no matter what year I've heard it or who it is. It's just always sounded.
Because obviously, I just wanted to touch on the whole. Like, I'm not sure if you've seen the video of Heady One getting harassed. Yeah. Obviously, it evokes a certain type of response in it, and it's like, do we now need to start policing? Not necessarily. I don't like that word. Do we now kind of need to start taking a bit more accountability for who we champion in it? Because us necessarily streaming your music, like as like grown up adults, do we endorse this type of? Do we continue to endorse this type of music, knowing what it actually results in onto a cellular street level? Like, do we continue to stream? Do we continue to go and see them at shows and stuff like that when we know that they're not really using this as an opportunity to better their situation? Really,
it's just more beef.
We kind of we skirted around this at some point. Do we separate the artist from their life? Well, do we separate the artist from their music then? So what they do in their daily life, can we separate that? Can we separate their music? Can we still listen to their music?
Meant to imitate
life.
So now it depends, because obviously if the music is reflecting that kind of behaviour, then it's a different circumstance.
Conversation.
It's a different circumstance. So maybe then you stop pushing it. But if people are enjoying the music, what can we say? Stop enjoying the music?
Like this, I think we're more powerless than we think. And I don't listen to Heady One. I don't know what he looks like. I know nothing about this guy.
I didn't even know that till like 2 weeks ago.
I have no idea who he
is. Somebody loves him. There's people out there that are championing
fan base.
And just because I'm not doesn't mean that someone else isn't. So as in, we can only really be responsible for what we do.
I heard that, but like,
and we can try and get everyone and be like, no one support this.
What I was thinking is the music just a reflection of what they were going to do anyway?
9 times.
I think it makes it worse.
So then it's like, whether we support the music or we don't support the music, are they going to stop?
No, but I'm looking at this specific instance in terms of.
I'm not going to lie to you. I don't know what happened.
Basically, not to get too deep. He did a show at a uni.
Oh yeah, I did it.
And then obviously he's been approached, and obviously they've filmed him, and basically he's been caught slipping at the uni, and then obviously, as they say they're gonna circle back in it. So he's got back to ends, and whatever's happened, and it's been a back and forth since then. So it's like, as a direct result from one circumstance, and then songs, obviously the Know Better challenge. The Know Better was obviously in response to him getting caught at the uni, innit? So he said he didn't have his, he was gonna let it off, but he knew better.
Yeah,
basically,
he didn't have his.
he claims to have had it, but he knows better. Which is, to me, it's like, all right, cool, innit? Like, we've seen footage, innit? So it's like, it's hard to kind of like, whether or not you're involved as much on like I said, on that ground basis. Like me, I'm not outside my house after a certain time, innit? Like, so
I'm not outside that.
I think we're at a different age as well.
I'm at a different point in my life in terms of I'm not necessarily like, I hear what goes on, but I'm not necessarily as attached as I might have been maybe 5-10 years ago. If you're not,
I'm not that attached to it at all. But one thing, going back to what both you and Shakira said, I do think there's instances where the music makes it worse. Because when I hear about certain situations, I'm not going to mention the song, but the lines that they're saying in the song about people, I'm like, boy, if I was on the other side, I'd be going wild. Like,
do you know what?
Because you know that's what happened.
It's bad youth music. And I think not all bad youths are the same. And some bad youths are bad youths because their three friends are bad youths, but they might be bad youths because they've grown up in a bad home. You might be bad youths because that's your friends. It's by association.
Yeah, there's different factors.
Some people just get dragged into it. So I don't think we can tar everyone with the same brush. But it is sad because at a certain age you realise how much time you've wasted. Like, I was very involved younger, and then I look back now and just like, right, when I think about it, it's because I had nothing, or I thought I had nothing to lose. Now you grow up and you realise real life, and you wake up and you're just like, actually,
there's other
what was that? What was those few years? What was I doing? Kind of thing.
Yeah, man, I'm not gonna lie. You kind of look back at certain things that have happened, and it's like, all right, cool, innit? That probably wasn't the best.
But it's so hard to like
to see
think
that
like that when you're in. You see what I'm saying? Like, so I get it.
For me, sorry to cut you. Now I made a comment on Twitter, and it's like, it's something that I've kind of been asking myself, because it's like, I'll listen to R. Kelly music now. Like, if it's good R. Kelly music, I'll still listen to it, even though he's pretty much been like painted as a demon in his personal life. But then I'll question myself, like, promoting a drill song or promoting
you're just
drill.
listening.
But in terms of, say for instance, I'm someone that enjoys sharing music with others. So like, even the Carns album, there's a few songs on there that I like, but I won't necessarily be as inclined to talk about it because of obviously the content. And then you hear the artist, it makes it, say for instance, you're friends with someone on this side, and then they're talking about someone on that side.
That's more delicate to the person though. For example, you feel a way about playing R. Kelly because R. Kelly doing pissing on everyone. He's up to no good, innit? But I still play DVS.
I do as well. That's not it.
But why is everyone so gun shy about saying it? Like,
no, but in terms of, like, I've had people look at me sideways.
I know, but this is the thing.
It's
this new generation or new thinking,
fake outrage,
where it's just. Listen, we grew up here. Before I went to school, I'll watch MTV Base and I'll see Ludacris hanging a midget off his necklace. No one complained.
I
watched Little Britain. And they were talking about only gay in the village. No one complained. But now, you even think about something and they're on you.
Outrage.
You know what I'm saying? It's only 10 years.
So, it's mad. Just following up from that, obviously, in terms of censorship and police and what people lack, how did everyone feel about the Justin performance at the Grammys?
I didn't see
Snooze fest.
I didn't see
I think
at the Grammys?
No,
not the Grammys, Super Bowl.
I think I think the Prince thing wasn't as bad as everyone made out. Initially, apparently, he was going to have the hologram of Prince, but obviously all of Prince's people know from time that he's against it. He was like, when I die, don't ever bring me back in a hologram. He was like, that shit's demonic and da-da-da-da-da. So he had a big fucking like sheet with a video projection on there and said, that bit wasn't too bad. But the rest of the performance, I think him actually as a performer is good. Justin Timberlake, I don't think he'll ever take that away from him. But musically, I was
No,
just
because
like,
that was another
this is
thing on
too
the
much,
timeline
like-
that I noticed there. People are like, yeah, it's time to cancel Justin. But I'm like, I'm not
Why? What did
cancelling
he do?
Justin
What
because
what
he's
did he
giving
do
me
that
lots of
wrong?
good music.
because his album looked like Make
can't
America Great Again. That's why
You
people
can't,
wanted to
like,
cancel
for
him.
me, you can't cancel Justin Timberlake because he at this point decided to make some
When
type
he
of.
I'm not
started
gonna lie
that
to you,
performance, I thought, oh, I forgot about that banger. Oh, and then the next year, I was like, oh, that was a banger
Do you know,
too.
it just bothered me musically because it was so rocky. It's like, but why? This is not what your music is. Why are you trying
No,
to?
because
that the new
obviously
album?
he's the new stuff. I'm talking about the old,
But
the old
the
stuff.
performance though was rocked out,
Okay,
like
yeah.
bare electric guitars and shit. I'm like, really?
But do you know what? You see, performances, it's a weird one because you have to like slightly
Yeah.
deviate from
the-
what
Yeah,
the
no,
original.
that I get, and I appreciate that. A lot of the times, most artists emphasize on their music through live performances. They bring other stuff out
Yeah.
of the track that wasn't there. But then, like, when I sit back and I watch maybe a Bruno Mars performance, for example, because obviously he's done the Super Bowl twice before. He's like on a different level, but he's still really singing. Where this time with Justin, I thought like all he wanted to do was perform. He weren't really singing.
Yeah, well, Justin's
was-
not. I wouldn't ever have had him down. I would have him as a studio
artist.
Yeah,
You're not gonna get cracking vocals out of him live.
yeah.
I can't see that happening really.
And-
Whereas
And that's the other thing as well. I feel like when you're moving about that much, you've got to be able to do it. I think there's only 2 artists that I can think of
Beyonce.
that can dance that well and sing that well at the same
Who are
time.
they?
And one's Beyonce and one is Ralph Tresvant of New Edition.
No, there's more. There's
There's more, but there's the 2. But there's the 2 I think of
Yeah.
when you're talking about moving
That's when you get to the
non-stop
extreme level.
on stage
for a good 45 minutes.
45 minutes,
No breath.
and you're not missing a
Yeah.
beat. or
Speaking of
vocal.
Beyonce, stuff like that is how I know she still hasn't given us her all. Like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, till this day, vocally, she hasn't given us the extremities of what she has in her locker.
locker.
She hasn't.
Yeah, I
That's
hear
why
that.
her voice never sounds like
She never
she's
sounds
stretching
like
it.
she's stretching.
She never sounds like she's stretching
Yeah,
it. She can perform to the greatest ability and still belt it out. She's not. She's got so much more she hasn't given us, and that's why she annoys me. But anyway, let's go.
Side note. No,
Yeah,
'cause
don't report us again, guys.
Sorry, great things about her. I'm just saying, can she give it to us? Like, that's it. Like,
so we're not cancelling. Like, from my point of view, I'm not cancelling Justin Timberlake.
Do you know what?
as a
just
person,
not-
I cancelled Justin
I-
Timberlake a while ago. To be fair,
What did you?
yeah, he said some shit on Twitter that pissed me off, and I was
What'd
just
he
like,
say?
I can't actually remember.
You're the Twitter expert, so.
I can't actually remember what it was, but it was in response to something Black Lives Matter, and he said something very, very
yeah,
wayward.
yeah.
And I was like, you can sit over there, Justin. I'm still going to listen to the music, but you can just
It
sit
was
over
very,
there.
it was very much
was-
on the fence. It
So
was,
was like-
it was
But does
leaning
he-
towards all lives matter kind of stuff.
It was
like-
it was kind of it was basically a brush off. It was a comment on somebody speaking on Black lives, and he tried to make it universal basically. And then when people were saying to him like, actually, could you just leave it? Like, you didn't need to change it.
Yeah.
They were talking about black people specifically, and he was a bit throwaway with his responses. So I was like, okay, Justin, take a seat, make some music somewhere. And,
It's true. I hear
give
that,
us
I
some
hear
more
that.
Justified.
Do you know what? I think when you're famous and you're an entertainer, you do have to be very careful with your political stance on, or just leave. You can
Just
obviously
anything.
Just shut up.
I have opinions that
Honestly.
are going to be super unpopular, but I probably won't say them, or I may have already said them. You know what I'm saying? Like,
You can actually
sounds more like
people
it.
need to know that it's actually they can shut up. Like, you don't actually always have to.
but that's
tell
why
people.
I can't be famous, because if I'm famous, you kind of can't even be you.
No,
Yeah.
'cause
So
People
there's do
always
you know
shine a
what? This
mic in
world,
your
the
face.
sooner everyone realizes it, the better. This world is all against all. It is men and women at it, and then black and white at it, and every other race, and then
Yeah.
within the women, it's black women versus
Light-skinned women.
light-skinned women.
Yeah.
There's big battles, and then inside those smaller battles is even smaller battles.
Africans
and then
versus Caribbeans.
exactly. Do you understand? Rich versus poor, like fat versus skinny, like the same gay versus straight. It's just a bit of an all against all. So you are naturally gonna defend or gravitate towards whatever it is that you are.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So
It's about picking your battles.
yeah.
though.
As in, like, you can have your opinions, but I think when you're famous and you are connecting with so many people, there's no way what you say is going to resonate with everyone. It's impossible.
I absolutely love the way that just rolled into my next point of discussion. Quincy Jones.
Yeah.
Quincy Jones.
Quincy Jones is going wild.
Listen, yeah, I was like, do you know what it was, yeah? The thing that made me laugh is that he wasn't actually answering the questions. It was just like, hey Dan, how's your day going? You know, I spent a day with Michael Jackson once, and he was he was sucking some boy's dick. Or do you know what I mean? These are the
that's not what he said. But he said some wild stuff about some people. But he was coming out with wild stuff from nowhere. Like he's basically. There was an article posted from a magazine or a newspaper, whatever, called Vulture, and the person interviewed him twice. They did 2 phone calls, and then they mashed it up into like an interview format, and like it was asking him questions like, so do you feel like there's any songs that weren't as big as they should have been, or any albums that weren't as good as they should have been? And he was like, motherfucker, I'm Quincy Jones. He was like, everything was big, but that was his actual response. That's a direct quote. And then when he talks about and
then they asked him, what is something that you are proud of that you've achieved? And he's like, everything I did. Yeah, and they were like, every single thing. He was like, every single thing that I did.
What was so innovative that he did? He was like, everything.
I'm not gonna lie, when you're Quincy Jones, you're kind of entitled to, like, you could.
You do have certain entitlements. I hear that. Is that the most?
That's not as
no.
Nearly as hard as it gets.
That was the tame stuff.
So they asked him about Marlon Brando, like, because they all hung around together back in the day or whatever, and he was like, Marlon Brando was like, the most charming fucker, like,
he fucked anything.
He fucked anything, like mailbox, postbox, Richard Pryor,
Tevin Campbell.
No, he didn't say Tevin Campbell.
He didn't say Tevin.
He said Richard Pryor, Marvin Gaye, and somebody else, and he said Marlon Brando fucked them all, and he was like, so you mean they slept together? Yeah. And then he'll be like, anyway, so what star sign are you? Yeah. He just switches out of it and starts asking other questions.
He'll start saying something and say, but I shouldn't talk about that.
But yeah, basically after that,
talking about how he fucked Donald Trump's wife.
Quincy Jones.
He said that he fucked Donald Trump.
Yeah. He was moving mad.
And then the Richard Pryor bit, since then, his wife actually came out and said that Richard Pryor was bisexual. And he did have things with men. But he's been... Richard Pryor always said it, though. Yeah. It's just... Because it's Richard Pryor, nobody took it serious.
It was a joke, innit? But yeah, I've seen things of him talking about doing some outrageous stuff.
Quincy was talking bare.
But my thing is,
fucking it.
He said how Michael stole tunes from people and all this stuff.
But that's normal.
That's normal.
But he said there was one song in particular, and he was like, and he didn't want to give the writer the 10%. He was too tight.
Yeah. It's normal as well.
Yeah, it happens. People get screwed over in music all the time.
But in terms of, when you're talking about people that are not here to defend,
that's my thing. It's like you're giving all this smoke when everybody's dead. Where were you saying this stuff like 10, 20 years ago?
Also, why don't you talk about yourself?
Yeah, I was discussing this with my mum yesterday.
Address the shit that people have been talking about you.
He's just gone mad.
He's just throwing mad comments.
Old people, when they just start chatting
spilling bare tea.
He probably knows he's dead soon. He probably knows he's dying soon, so let me just let him have it. Fuck it.
He should have admitted the shit that he did.
But in terms of just a little bit more what's the word?
Just some decorum.
Yeah.
Especially when you're speaking about people who are dead.
And some of the people he's talking about are immensely talented people as well. They're held in high regard.
Like something must have happened on this day of the interview for him to be like this, because he's obviously gone for all these years not speaking like this. But that's the thing,
but he doesn't really do many interviews either.
Yeah, maybe that's why.
He can't be trusted.
He's more of a studio. So now someone put the mic in front of him and he was like, yo, let me get my shit on.
Was it him that shared the story about Prince running over, nearly knocking over? Was it Quincy?
Yeah, I think it was
Quincy. Yeah, he basically said that how Prince
tried to run
over Michael Jackson.
I've seen.
How could that? It's
hilarious.
It's a hilarious.
Black entertainment, Hollywood music, all of it. Yeah, they were all nuts. I think from like the 60s through to the early 90s.
Cocaine's a hell of a drug, man.
You know what? Your joke killed me. So Richard Pryor used to go out with Pam Grrey, and there was a thread on Twitter the other day about all these rumours and stuff of things that allegedly happened in black entertainment. And some of them I deem to be more true than others. Some of them are very questionable. But there was one about Richard Pryor saying that he was actually putting cocaine on his dick when he was sleeping with Pam Grrey, and she didn't know. And then that led to her not being able to have kids. He'd been doing it for so long.
There was so much cocaine residue. It was in her cervix, and
it ruined everything.
Was there though?
Yeah.
There was mad cocaine.
Pam Grrey don't have any kids.
Yeah, she don't have any kids.
Dope dick.
get out of here. Just get out of here.
I was rolling.
That's the real definition, though. Like in terms of like, you look at Rick James.
But why is he doing that?
Because he was just wild. It's Richard Pryor, isn't it?
Like,
Richard Pryor used to sniff a mountain of coke on the dinner table in front of his nan. Like.
What was the story about him setting himself? Was it on fire?
He set himself on fire.
Yeah, no.
You know what it is, yeah? Some people get too much money too early.
Yes.
And this is what happened to a lot of black Americans.
Yep, 100%.
I said this in a WhatsApp group the other day, something mad about the Euro Millions rollover. I was just like, listen, we better pray none of us win it.
Some real ignorant shit's about to take
I dare you to just
be like the Boondocks,
500 million in my account now. I dare you, I'll be dead within a year.
What's the first thing you're going to get? I know what.
We're probably going to get burner.
I'm going to buy it. I'm not gonna lie. I need to be able to at least defend what I can hold on me at the moment. I need to make sure that no one's running up on me.
Actually just warp your realities and make you not know who you are, and you just become who Quincy Jones became.
Yeah, he went wild.
No, I'm definitely going to buy a strap first. No doubt about it. Think about it though. As soon as someone hears that, like, little old me's got like,
but
honestly,
nobody hears. That's
honestly,
the thing.
yeah. If I won the lottery, I wouldn't tell anyone because somebody would definitely rob me. Like,
you know what it is?
1,000%.
This actually rolled over again this week. It's like 100 and what? 113 million.
I should play for the.
Can't win that. I don't want to win that. I just want to win a fraction of it.
If I won the lottery, nobody would know until I was gone. Like whether I moved outside the London, moved to another country, nobody would know until I was out.
Money has a weird energy about it though. So even
people
when
can tell, innit?
You can just tell.
Oh, you shining, nigga?
I definitely walk different. I would definitely walk different.
Working a week or two.
Yeah, nigga, I'm out on chilling. Fuck this.
You know what come for your next podcast? There's no studio, bro. I'm gone, bruv. I'm gone.
There's a different sign at the door.
Where's Dan? Oh, he's in Maui or something.
No, I'm definitely buying burners though.
Yeah. They say actually, that earning us over a certain amount per annum can have a detrimental effect on your entire being. I think it was something like 120. They say once you're over 120 grand per year, it can have a negative impact on your like mental stability and just on your outlook on life.
Everything becomes.
It's different when you accumulate it like that, but if you go from that to that.
Yeah, I think quick jumps because you've got certain habits and a certain mentality from when you.
If you earn it, they say if you earn it like over a period of time,
it's a slow progression.
You slowly build the maturity to deal with that amount of money as well because you've had less than it or whatever it is. But
yeah, no, I can imagine that. Like, you know, some people like. I can think of some people I know that if they was to win money would be wild. They'd probably just be walking around just like dashing money in people's faces.
Oh yeah, that's it. Yeah, money would change.
I think it would flare up my anxiety. You know, having that kind of money.
It would.
What the hell?
That's one of the. That's one of the things they say that you become anxious. You become like super competitive because then you think you're broke next to that Russian billionaire.
Yeah, some oil
billionaire.
Yeah. So
I don't know. It's money is one of those weird things in terms of everybody wants it, but can you really deal with it once you get it? In terms of. Like, for me, I look at myself here, like, you set yourself little goals and then once you achieve your goals, it's like, rah, what's next? That's why I know I can't do drugs, because it's like once I achieve that optimum high,
you need more.
I'm gonna need something to make me feel like I'm actually doing something worth doing.
So it's not even like you have an addictive personality. You just need to go up levels.
People get addicted.
You can't do no gateway shit.
I can't do gateway drugs. It's just not for, like, that's about knowing yourself though. In terms of I've never smoked in it. Because it's like, as intrigued as, like, we've all watched How High. Like, some people are smokers.
People make it look mad fun to be high.
I just want to chill with Red and Meth one day and get high in it. That's like one of the things.
Have you never smoked?
I've never smoked.
Oh, that's sick.
I've never smoked.
See, I don't have an addictive personality, so I don't really get addicted to anything. So I've smoked, but I smoke for bands. No. Or I've done, like, I don't get addicted to things or even people. Like, so I don't think I could. I think I'll be alright anyway. Like, even with
I'm the opposite.
Anything except for too much money.
I'd definitely die. I would definitely die.
You'd die from what?
From
life.
Smoking, from any kind of drugs.
You have an addictive personality, though.
I do have an addictive personality.
I can tell.
Yeah, I was gonna say that.
You have like one of those personalities that you get very intense with whatever you're into at the time.
Yeah, I do.
Homie caught in session, yeah.
Let's cancel that.
This session's been pending for a while.
I'll let you live.
Hey, Dad.
I'll let you live.
You keep postponing it.
I'll let you live. I'm gonna let you live for now. How's everything?
There is a present, bro. Let's not do it. let's move on.
Yeah. So again, back to Dan. Do we have anything from the? Well, I'll say DB that we should look out for. Obviously, we know you've got the singles that are popping.
Yeah. So there's another one out, Bad Man Now. That's them three on it. Do you know what? If I'm honest, between us, there's like a lot of studios because I was like the first to like learn to engineer. Yeah. Because I broke my leg and I was bored at home, basically. And then that was, I don't know, over 10 years ago. And then slowly, like, these lot would always be at my house, and then you'll learn. And then so Delhi's got a studio. Ash is, I'm not sure if he's still got it, but there's studios all over the place. These lot make like 5 tunes a week. Probably more.
There's lots of music.
There's so much music.
It's just about what you might potentially
put out. It's just about putting out, and then obviously label situations are always a little bit. They slow you down a lot.
Yeah, that's
the one. Yeah,
who are they? Well, you, because obviously you're still a part of it. Yeah. But who you signed with? Then?
Polydor. So it's Universal. Yeah. So it's a good one. It's a big label, but these labels have moments. And
Universal had a big year last year,
and Universal have a big year every year. They own everything.
Yeah. So obviously then the next big thing, and they're onto that, and then and that starts popping, and it's become a bit of a viral thing more than a music thing.
Yeah, because Michael Dapper's over there quite often as well, isn't it?
But I thought
he's gone mad. Dapper, I don't know how he's done this. He must have made a mill. He must have made a mill by now. It's been too many months.
The vid's on, 100 million?
100 million views. Or 200. It's 100 million or 200 million views. One of the
his own channel as well, so he must have earned some nice coins.
Yeah.
Obviously, you said you're primarily you're an engineer, so we kind of know you for that.
Do you know what? Before that, I was a rapper.
Okay.
So that's why I engineered, so that because I broke my leg, I'm in a cast. I can't go radio, I can't go youth club to studio, so I have to do it at home. So that was like where it stemmed from. And then I kind of developed a bit of a love for making music sound like music. Anyone who's heard music raw with nothing on it will understand how shit it sounds and how shit some of these artists really are.
No names.
That's what used to get me making beats. Like you did, and I'd be like, how does everyone make their shit sound like this? Like the frustration in trying to create like a full sound.
That sound is it's hard to come by. So that's what I kind of fell in love with, because I set myself lots of goals as well, and I like to achieve certain things. And that was one of the things. Like I wanted to be able to make music sound like real music. Like I wanted to play my song after a Jay-Z song, and you would never know that there's like a difference in quality kind of thing. But I'm just on my little laptop in my room at 18 years old, like trying to figure it out.
Obviously, it's something that like I've not necessarily fucked with heavily, but like I'm aware what length you have to go to in order to master the whole engineering. And when you've been in studios, like people underrate the engineer. In terms of,
everyone except the artist.
Do you feel like that more credit needs to be given to the engineer? Obviously, I don't
think so. Do you know what? Yeah, like a lot of people say stuff like, no, we need to start crediting engineers and But you're an engineer, so
you don't really want to be known.
You don't need to be in the line.
Do you know what it is? There's too many people in the industry that are supposed to be in roles where you don't want the fame and adulation that now want the fame and adulation.
Everyone wants
A&R's trying to be more famous than the artist.
Well, that Caroline girl gets on my last
at least you got nice to where he needed to be.
I'm not gonna lie, man. I don't want to say nothing too wild, but but
just in general, you see what I'm saying? Like a lot of people who should be behind the scenes are trying to come and be on the main stage with the act.
That brings me to a couple points. One, so now Spotify have put metadata in all of their tracks. So as long as it's been posted or the information's been provided to them, the writers and the producers are on every song now on Spotify.
Sick.
Which I think is very good, because we don't have liner notes anymore. People rarely do physical releases. We don't know who wrote, produced, who credited it, etc.
Yeah.
And the second point was about the engineer stuff. So when that credits thing was released, I saw some engineers, like some of the Americans, like, oh, so you can tell them like who did this, but why are you not saying who engineered it or mixed it or mastered it? Because I know when I think of like Premier and Dr. Dre, like Eddie Sancho does most of their mixing or mastering, etc., and has done for like 20 years.
Yeah.
So, but I only know that because I read the liner notes, which are not available anymore. But then two, we say necessarily the engineer might not want to be that guy to get the credit, but then Young Guru has been Jay-Z's engineer for ever. And he's been mentioned forever.
Look at Kendrick Lamar's engineer. He's a magician.
Yeah,
because he makes the sound so full.
I think it comes down to what kind of person you are. Obviously, everyone likes to be credited and to think, but for that to be like your thing, that you're fighting to be heard and to be recognised as a. I
think that the appreciation from your artist should be sufficed.
It's enough.
It should be sufficed.
It's enough. I don't want to be known by the public. I want to be needed by the artist.
I want to be known by my peers, innit?
But so I do feel like producers might feel that way.
Producers,
and I really appreciate producers, because I think artists and rappers have it quite easy, because they have, by the time they get the beat, they have a template, they have something to go with. Producers literally go from nothing. There was nothing, and then they created something.
Everybody has their own styles of making beats and their own templates and stuff, but the producer thing gets to me because, for example, French Montana, Unforgettable, he doesn't even know who the producer is of that song. That's his biggest smash. That has been his hit single. He hasn't really had a hit that big before. Not even close. And when they asked him, like, who produced it? Some dude from Africa.
Yeah, because music's become so like that, and the internet's helped it.
And like beats are getting shopped from one person to another person, or beats are getting leased to this person, and then if it's been leased, their contract hasn't been signed, so somebody else gets the beat and then puts it out, and all sorts of shit.
That's it. You got proper producers who are putting all their beats on YouTube. It's an advantage for you, because you're going to get, 10,000 people around the world will buy that $30 lease, and that's quick dough for you. But it does kind of mess things up, because it's a bit weird.
I mean, I've got a perfect example in terms of hip hop. Anyway, like Nuts has been involved in a lot of classic albums and has made bangers for everybody all throughout the 90s and.
Probably
to be honest, just up, for a large chunk of the 2000s as well. And then there was a point in time where I wouldn't say he disappeared, but he wasn't one of the like staple producers for hip hop albums anymore. Before it was like Nuts, Premier, Dre, maybe Pete Rock to an extent, Pharrell, etc. Those kind of producers, and then somehow he kind of fell out of that.
Himself out of that equation.
He's consistently made good music, and up till now, but. He literally advertises his stuff on Instagram. He posts up like 7 beats a day, and out of those 7 beats a day, on average, 5 are absolute bangers.
But you've got to look at it from this perspective of
he's got to sell. For him, he's Grammy nominated, or maybe even won Grammys by now. And he literally has to sell himself on Instagram. If you want beats, check my manager. This is somebody that's been successful for like 20 years.
The climate's changing.
But also, I think we also underestimate how much money these producers can make on one day from making one beat by doing that. So you see, like these beats that are on YouTube and they've got 1 million views. You can bet your bottom dollar 10,000 people have leased that, whether that's kids in Australia, whether that's like professional musicians elsewhere. Like you can bet that 10,000 people have bought that. That's 300 grand in a day.
That's and there's
no matter what tune you make and give it to Jay-Z, you're not getting that 300k in a day from it. You know what I'm saying? So it makes business sense to do some beats that way. Like there's some producers that won't even sell their beats like that. So for example, like Bombaleo, for example, there was different versions of Bombaleo. I've offered however much money for the beat. He said no. I was like, right, it's a bit mad. Obviously, I knew that the label are involved now. I can like try and pull it, but I didn't know that is it Sean Kingston or something? I'd put in double my offer and got cancelled as well. So I was thinking, right, what's this producer? And then I realised he must have sold this beat to so many people around the world that he's just made so much dough that he doesn't benefit.
Who else used it? Was it Sean Kingston? Was it or Safari?
Them. So it makes money sense for producers to just sometimes slut your beat out, man. Like,
in terms of obviously the producer being a big part of the musical process, in terms of obviously, do you feel that once you've sold a beat, you should then automatically exempt any future royalties? In terms of what you see now is a producer will, or even if it's like a friend or someone that you work with quite closely, and then say for instance you've got an in-house producer and then it ends up being a charting song or streaming mad numbers, do you feel that the producer is in a sense owed a certain amount back off the song, or do you feel that if you've done business and your business isn't set up the right way, then fuck it, innit?
I think at some points like friendship and that will come into it, but usually you get what you negotiate, and it is that simple. If you don't negotiate anything and nothing was said, then you can have the argument. But if like there is no set musical contract, you see what I'm saying? Like unfortunately, like there's so much things that you can put in a contract that will safeguard you against certain things, like a tune going huge in the future and you only getting 3 bills. So you can put something in a contract that says, you know, if the sales go past this, then I want 30% of whatever is on the other side. But if you don't write it in, you haven't got a leg to stand on.
Well, that's the thing. I think a lot of producers don't have their business side set up. Like I think every big producer has stories about how they got screwed out of money,
and it helps you,
and it does, you know, it builds character and it helps you realize, okay, this is what I need to do. But then I also think there's a space of like, especially if maybe you haven't had any big placements yet, and then you get something, you're not really thinking about the details. You're just like, I'm happy I'm producing a track for 50 or I mean the perfect example for me was Designer's track. That was, what was his name, Menace, I think it was, and it was like $2,000 or something like that, or it was even less than that. It was a proper cheap beat, but he didn't have any business to back it up, so the song's obviously come out, blown up massively, and then he's disputed it. So to this day, from that beat, there's been no money been made. Because it's still under disputes now. When you take those disputes and it goes to ASCAP and everything like that, the money just gets put on hold. That's it. Nobody's making money off it. Like.
Well, that's it. If you're a producer and you're planning to produce properly, and I think he might have had one of those sites like a SoundClick or something like that.
Yeah, he did. He had a thing of leasing beats and selling beats.
You have to pattern your contracts properly because your contract is binding. You see what I'm saying? So if that's what you agree on, that's what you agree on. Like you're not going to get any more than that unless someone's feeling really nice about it.
Yeah, exactly. Like I said, like a kind of friendship thing. Well, that's where I think, like, even if people are selling their beats, even if they say, oh, do you know what, I'm going to sell you this beat for £100 and I'm going to give you 2 tracks, or I'm going to have it tracked out for you or whatever. But in the event of this song ever streaming or hitting a certain thing, I don't know, I want 5% or 10% or whatever. Even if that means you get 10% of nothing for your next 20 songs, and then the 21st song is the one that goes.
The problems aren't usually when you know the person. Like, as in, like, if you two had this, you would just work something out. You know what I'm saying? But if the beat was made by some guy in America and you're from here, you've never met him, you don't know it, he's just an email to you, then
it makes things potentially difficult.
I don't care about you, I don't know you, I like your beat, I bought it. Like, why am I don't care that I made 2 mil and you got 2 bags.
That's your business.
That's it.
That's what I'm saying. And that's the thing, it's difficult to navigate because there's times where stuff has worked out. So for example, when Nori was signed to Rockefeller, he never signed a contract.
No.
So, but he was that tight with Biggs and Damon and
Biggs
stuff.
and Big Face.
Big Face Gary. Yeah, he was the A&R for Rockefeller. I've been watching Barry the Rockefeller documentary shit recently. But he was like, but you never signed a contract. So he made millions off of the reggaeton stuff when he was signed to Rockefeller. But he never ever signed a contract. Ever. But because they knew each other like that and they were business minded, it was like, okay, cool, we're giving you X, Y, and Z, and it was never questioned. Like, imagine that, like, now in this climate, not signing a contract and having a song that big. I can believe that.
Yeah. I don't care. I might negotiate something or answer the emails or anything like that, but I'm not gonna put my names on nothing.
So do you feel that gives you an advantage in a sense?
I don't know. Like, for example, I knew, like, I love them, man, innit? Like, that's my brothers. But I knew that going forward, I'm not going to be an artist. I just knew. Doesn't matter if I can write 8-bar or not. I'm not going to be going forward an artist. I just know it. I'll slow you, man, down, and I'll let you, man, down, innit? So...
at least you know yourself,
innit? That's really important for you to know about yourself, to be honest.
Like, so... you free sign it. Like, I'll set it up and you free sign it, and obviously because we've all known each other, we do the splits amongst us and whatever it is. But them three sign the contract because it's them three have aspirations to be artists. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't. I really don't care about being an artist. Like, I don't want to be one. It's long.
All right, just kind of to. Obviously, we're picking your brain in it a little bit. I know the questions are a bit mad, but say for instance, a scenario where you've got an artist who you might have come across or someone brings to your studio and you realise, they've got talent. Yeah. How do you feel is, like, in today's climate, is the best? Because obviously you situate
every couple of weeks, man. Like, literally, and I'm still trying to work out the best thing. Like, the thing is, I honestly see music as quite similar to, like, stock investment.
Yeah.
And I think that you can come in here with the best product ever, but if you haven't got
the right business packaging behind it, then it's not going to go anywhere past your friends and your friends' friends.
Yeah.
Now, I was asking from a shared point of view of, obviously, you're someone that obviously comes into contact with
a lot of people. But you see that contact that you have with people, it's friendships and it's little things. But as soon as it's favour time, you need some kind of incentive. So, for example, I know bare people that I could say, like, I beg you post this for me or do that. Yeah. But how many times can you use that favour? Do you see what I'm saying? Yeah. And also, these people have built their brand and probably spent a lot of money doing so.
So why are they going to do that for somebody else?
So sometimes I even feel funny about, like, hollering like Rashid or Jamal and saying, I beg you, and we'll work out a later date or whatever it is. Yeah. Because you've built your brand.
Platform. It's taken years.
You see what I'm saying? Like, it's hard graft. You've invested a lot of money. Like, I honestly think that you have to pay for certain things. Like, if you want your product out there, you've got to put it in the shop window. Yeah. So if you've got £500 and that is your budget for studio, promotion, videos, the whole lot, then you're relying heavily on luck. You are.
It's the truth. You are.
When I found out how much GRM charge, I was like,
it's an oversaturated market. So you need to have the belly. Like, you need to have something that is standing out. Like, there's just no comparison. Otherwise, you're going to fall into that massive bubble full of everyone. How many artists are there that I don't know? Yeah. On this road, I guarantee there's 50 artists.
On this road?
On Barbie Road. I guarantee it. I don't know them. Or I might know one. Do you know what I'm saying? Just because, like, it's so many rappers and so many artists that to do it, you need to put yourself out there. So you might need to pay for PR. You might need to pay for that. You might need to pay for a better video than what you'd get just shooting one on your estate, spending a bill 50 doing it. Like, it's an investment, and you'll make that money back. Trust me, and you make it back a lot faster than you think. Because if you spent $2,000 on your package rather than 5 bills,
it was likely to go a lot further.
It's going to go a lot further. You'll get a lot more views. You've paid a plug, maybe it's on radio, blah 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 blah, and now you've got free shows because of it, and you've got your money back. You see what I'm saying? And now your brand is built, and it hasn't. It's just an investment, and it's not a long-term one. Like, you can get your money back within a month.
So would you say that obviously you've taken, obviously with your own situation, you've taken that to a label, and obviously eventually or even already you lot have recruited, but do you see
we didn't go to a label.
They came to you?
Yeah.
Fair enough. But in that situation where
labels, I think the whole thing of going shopping your music,
that's what I wanted to get to in terms of, do you think going to a label or necessarily building it organically and hoping that obviously it
I think it depends on what stage you are as an artist. So for example, if you're Wretch, shop your music to a label, because they're all going to want it. You're shopping it just to see what's the best deal for you. If you are just one of the youngers from the ends who has like no views, no brand, no nothing yet.
Build yourself up, innit?
Then you go to a label, they're gonna throw peanut, as in they're gonna laugh at you because they know you want them more than they want you. And this is largely about who wants who more.
Yeah.
Labels will want you once you're popping, regardless. Yeah. And if you show them that you don't need them or want them, they'll offer you more dough. It's like one of those weird things where if you show a girl you don't like her, she's just on you. Like, what do you like? So it's just, it's a weird one. I don't think you need to chase a label. And I don't even think you need one anymore.
Yeah, I think in this day and age right now, the way things are going, it's not really needed. Like, I think the whole like Vibber thing, like how Dave done it, has been organic. Like most of them have known each other for years or whatever and have certain connections. I know Wheezy is Poe's manager, so I think he manages Vibber as well as the group. But like the way they've done it, they didn't need that single deal. But it's worked out to have that little bit of backing, so it can go just that bit further.
But then after a while, trust me, what will happen is they'll be like, actually, we don't need the label. Yeah. They're a bank.
Yeah,
we don't need them.
Because that's what you do. You spend someone else's money.
It's the outreach. We have it ourselves anyway. You know what I'm saying? And 100%. You know, we've got the artists, the directors, the producers. We've got it all here. Yeah. All we're missing was the initial investment.
Yep.
And they weren't even missing it. But when a label comes and starts offering you grants for a song that you made in 5 minutes, and that you make 10 more of in 5 minutes, take the money.
And that's the thing that I like about them as well. I know that's their whole thing. I watched the little doc they put out, and Vibber is Swedish for vibe. That's where they got it from. But I like the fact that they do have that vibe, because I think I've liked everything they've put out. I think there was maybe one song I was a little bit indifferent with, but the rest of it I've been like, that's a banger. So, it's good to see.
I don't think you need labels anymore. I really don't, unless you do at the very top end. You don't need the labels to make dough anymore. But if you want to make real dough, like when I saw the Cardi B things and she started making that, I knew it was Atlantic. Like I just felt it.
Atlantic,
because Atlantic
they move
different. And if you want to go Sky, you need them probably still.
Atlantic are on this viral thing, like whoever it is, they're just throwing the money at. They've signed so many acts, and it's like, really? Like,
but they know that they can take advantage of that situation.
Well, they know they can, like, let's just say for argument's sake, they get 2 years out of Cardi, and it's 2 years of hits. Profitable. They're making a shitload of money.
Bottom line, I think the streaming services have put the labels back in a much stronger position than they were before that.
Yeah, I think they were weakened for quite a while. Even when streaming first came in, because nobody knew what to do with the deals and stuff. It was up in the air.
Even then, the metrics aren't entirely sorted out. So
it's still not.
It's going to be an ongoing process, but it allows the labels back in the door.
It means that there's more money in music than there was. So, for example, for my whole life, if I wanted an album, I downloaded the album illegally.
Yeah.
As did everyone else. And if I did buy albums, it was like very few. Like, put it this way, I wasn't spending £120 a year on music like everyone in the world is now having Spotify. So
that's a very good point.
So I'm saying there's more money in music, so the labels are taking
I've never
bigger
looked
risks.
at it like that, you know.
So as soon as they think it's gonna blow, they're like, we'll have that. We own that tune for 75 years or 90 years or whatever it is. We don't care how much money we'll give you here. We know that we'll recoup that over the next 75 years. That's it. And more. They are winning. They're just playing the long game.
I think as well, it opens up loopholes for other things. So like Chris Brown, every song on his 45 track album has gone gold or platinum.
Yikes.
Every song?
Yeah. Every song.
You see that, right? Honestly, I think that he's not the most popular guy. But when I say, like, we'll look back in years and say that the bread's special, man.
Oh, he's extremely talented.
He's a beast.
And his work ethic is mad. I don't really want to hear 45 Chris Brown songs.
Nah,
anymore.
I don't.
I don't want to hear it.
Well, you don't like him?
I do like Chris Brown. As in, I know that he's very talented. I just don't think his output
is matched his talent.
Yeah, like he's got more talent than what he's showing us.
That, though.
And that's just something that annoys
me. Also,
me.
I think that's his personality as well. Have you seen him? He's destructive. He's destructive. He's just like on whatever.
He's like an ADHD kid.
Well, that was like Chris Rock was talking about, when I went to see him, he was talking about something like going wild and stuff, and like his punchline was like, I'm Chris Rock, not Chris Brown.
Oh,
Yeah.
So it's like
Chris Brown is one of those like
He's wild.
he's flat risk, isn't it?
But it's like
100%.
you're getting to the point now where you need to like relax, like just relax.
He's still young.
He's still young.
Remember, he was
a little bit.
as young as us. He was as
Brown's-
young as us.
Chris Brown is
when he was making
Yeah, he came
27,
out.
28?
Yeah, he came out at what?
16.
smooth as he put me on. I needed him.
Latskin's back. As well, you said you weren't spending £120 on music, yeah, just to kind of like mix it up a little bit.
Yeah.
What was, looking back, because we done it with ourselves,
And I'm still not actually. That's the worst thing. I just keep doing them 3-month trials.
Oh,
And
wow.
I'm not gonna lie, I
what
had
it
a
is, yeah?
6-month trial.
Someone promised me that they had one of them student things where you can get it for £5.
Yeah, I got that.
So I need that email. I need the student. One of them emails. Someone, I beg you, send me one of them emails that ends in ac.uk.
I've been paying
Yeah, I've got
£5 a month
That's it.
for Spotify for like
That's all I
2-3
want.
years.
That's
Because
all
obviously I
want. don't know
literally
why.
had a 6-month trial with my contract, and then I got a student account, so I got the
You're a
£5.
student.
No, obviously I work in a uni, innit? So I've got
So
an
you're
AC.
I need one of them emails.
Serious, what the hell?
Hey,
We can talk off the mic.
what's the followers stop?
Just looking back, what would you say was the first album you can actually remember purchasing, like going to the store and buying? Because we're not gonna have that as like looking forward.
Nah.
We're not gonna have CDs no more. We're not gonna have.
God, that
CDs.
makes me so sad.
Sad.
Do you know
It
that?
makes me sad.
But even now, I get asked why I still buy CDs. Oh, but you don't listen to them. And you can't play them really because you're not going to play them in your PS4. You don't really have a CD player to use. You got a system, but you
true.
plug stuff into it, or you go do it from the computer. It's like no, but I like to own shit.
shit.
I
I
like
like to have
having
a
tangible
physical.
Can't you
things.
own
I like
online?
having tangible things.
No,
I'm sure you can, but you need Apple
you need
Music.
Apple
Yeah.
Music.
Yeah, like you can buy whatever online,
Yeah.
but to me, it's not the same thing.
I like,
Yeah.
I like to have things
I like
I can
having
hold.
I just and I like
I
to
hear
support that because I think now like more of the artists that I'll be into when they put their projects out, it's independent. So back to the point of like you don't need labels unless you're at a certain level. I think there's so much more money to be made if you build your brand well. That between like Bandcamp and you know your own personal stores and releases, the stuff like Alchemist and Budgie are doing, where they're just releasing their own projects and doing like a limited vinyl run here, and then doing a digital release maybe 6 months or a year later at a lower price. That all in all, it all kind of adds up, and then merch and touring and stuff. There's so much to be made if you get the game plan right.
Yeah, but so going back to you, what was the first album you say?
It was probably I don't know the name of it anymore, but I remember what the case was like. It was Dr. Dre. It had a big weed.
Oh, the Chronic.
Oh yeah.
Even the first Chronic album.
That was my first, and I wasn't allowed to buy it.
Chronic in 2001.
Because I won bare dough in school. And I went to the shop and I bought that album. I don't know how they let. I'm sure that was an 18 album.
It was 18 plus.
It was like 9 years old.
They didn't care. I used to go like our price and all of that and buy everything, buy like Wu-Tang albums and Biggie albums and shit.
They didn't care.
With big fucking stickers saying parental advisory.
If it didn't say parental advisory, I didn't really want it.
I grew up. That was like probably the first ever hip hop album that I maybe even like listened to off my own back, because growing up my mum always loved like rare grooves and R&B. So I grew up like listening to rare grooves, and I love slow jams. I love R&B, like, so rap was like a
secondary
thing. Yeah, it was secondary, trust me. Like even now when I'm driving, like I can't drive with my windows down for you to hear what I'm listening to.
I'm not gonna lie,
I'm listening to Love Unlimited, bro.
I'm shameless.
You're sitting next to R&B Riz, yeah?
I don't give
If he hasn't got slow jams in the car, there's a problem.
If you ever knew what I was listening to on the way here, Jesus Christ.
Bruv, I was listening to Love Unlimited, bruv. No one even knows what that is.
Love
Barry
Unlimited,
White's
that's
band.
what's it called,
Bruv,
man?
it's rare grooves.
Rare grooves,
old,
bruv.
Like, so I listen to like weird kind of old music that teaches you to love. I'm not really with all this. Even the R&B now is like,
It's too
I got
throwaway.
these bitches, like, as in, like, it's not.
It's not emotional.
Yeah,
It doesn't to love.
R&B is that.
What's the word?
It's R&B fug shit. No, that's what it is. It's all the same.
It's
Like, it's
not what it is.
chivalry.
the whole goalpost. They've moved the goalpost, so it's like before music, like popular music, told us to love.
Yep.
and to fall in love, and
now it's get high.
Now it's now it's just like it's all against
they could be telling you, I'm never gonna leave my wife for you, and it just sounded so good.
It was amazing.
It sounded so good that you're like, okay.
And that's the thing. People talk about like the credibility thing, and like now how everything sounds the same and whatnot. But it's like before, there was all of this hardcore rap and this gangster shit and everything else, but there was always the R&B to balance it, and it was respected.
Yeah.
Now there's no other side. It's just all together.
I loved it when TGT came back the other day, like the other year. I was like, yes. I went to a concert with three of the man them.
Three of the man them.
Man them went. We couldn't believe it.
You went to a TGT concert with no girl.
But like that goes back to
no word said still.
I see the thinking, and they're not paying attention to musical principles and things like that. That's probably the part of his interview that I really agreed with.
Sorry, I didn't catch the first
Quincy Jones's interview where he was talking about how the problem with is no good music's being made now because they're ignoring musical principles. They're ignoring everything that we ever knew about music. And they're not putting anything into it.
It's good and bad, because obviously before there was like, it started with a 4-bar interlude, and it even started with the chorus, verse, chorus. It was very uniform. How a bridge, like it was very uniform.
I love
and then
bridges.
Young Thug came in.
I love
bridges.
Like I love a bridge. And the key change.
Yeah.
That's it. R&B house level. Once that bridge comes in, give you some extra keys.
I think that's what separated Michael from a lot of
these
people.
lot were educated in music as well.
Yeah.
So they understood what the sound was from going from a D major into a
and that is what Quincy Jones was saying is that you have to study music because it's an art.
You can't ask Young Thug. In fact, maybe Young Thug, because I heard that
he has a music semi-musical.
You can't ask these man. I beg you, like, send that into an F sharp for me instead.
Yeah, it does.
He'll be like, what?
What are you talking about?
What's that?
Start pressing mad keys.
The flip side to it is that they go off a good energy. Like his energy's so good that we don't even need to know what he's saying.
That's the thing. I think there's a difference between like necessarily being educated in the art of music, but then kind of knowing a bit and then just doing other stuff. Because I know people that aren't educated and never learn, but they can sit there and play shit, and it will sound very good.
And it's always best that way, I think.
It's a natural vibe. But then I know people that are either self-taught or have learned how to play however many instruments and have a certain vibe, but then it might lack something when they actually
because it's so uniform, they find it hard to sway off and do their own thing because they know a regimented.
That's where the best music's always come from. People, whether you're talking like soul, R&B, funk, rap, whatever it is, the people that have always stood out are the people that have done something slightly different. They've gone,
that's it.
Like if it was like Dilla or the Roots, or even going back to funk, like sloppy drums
rather than
and
diminishing
stuff like that.
Yeah, because you're taking your own impression.
You can diminish it. And the artists that excel for me are the ones that stretch it and take it to new levels that you didn't think it would reach. Like.
I feel like in terms of there is certain elements of the new school artists that are good in terms of like
definitely
but they didn't bring the good things from the last.
So it's like I dig the whole it's a poison chalice for me, because if I like you for doing a particular type of music, I still want elements of that. But I don't mind if you deviate from it slightly. So it's like, for instance, Usher is a prime example for me. Usher, for me, should be our version of Michael Jackson. However, he's gone too far.
He threw it off. After Confessions, he threw it all away.
After a while, maybe they get bored and they start following this what they call the current sound. It's not theirs, and they get worse because of it. Drake has undoubtedly got worse and worse and worse.
For me,
that brings me to a point. I need to mention this. I can't, Shakira.
When you're an established artist like Usher, you don't need to follow trends. You can take aspects of that trend and implement it into your own style, which is what they should do. Which is what you should do, rather than just letting them lead you off into the middle of the ocean.
You shouldn't be following anybody. You're supposed to be forging that sound.
To follow trends for so long. It's like, stop trying to follow them. Set a trend, Usher. Like you actually have that power. Set it.
But you also forget that you're getting older and you're not so plugged in with what's wavy, and you're not young anymore, and
Exactly. So now he looks like an Uncle Dad.
Uncle Dad.
The point I was gonna make. Drake, people need to stop lowering the bar for Drake. I've seen so much on Twitter the last 2 days about that verse on Look Alive with Blockboy.
What's Look Alive? That song where he's in the the tracksuit in the school.
That's what everybody's been talking about online. Oh, Drake's back. Drake's the coldest. That is a very subpar Drake verse. There's nothing. There's nothing wrong with it, but there's nothing special about it.
And
but people have been talking it. Like, at least hold him to his own high standards
because
of when
he's been
he really
bringing out
raps.
bullshit for so long. Yeah, people forget Drake's got it. He can do it. He can do it. He just doesn't. Yeah. So when he comes out with this bullshit,
and the thing is, he's an idiot because on every album, he gives you one tune.
Yeah.
He's just like one or two. Give me the whole album like Western Roads, or you see what I'm saying? Like, give me something like that for the whole thing. But he just
needs to put out a mixtape.
He's
like
a victim
that
of
for us kind of people that want that. Just give us something.
And when I tell people, I just miss mixtape Drake so much. I do.
But then that's what bothers me. People are talking about this as if Diplomatic Community didn't just come out.
Yeah.
And he wasn't just rapping his arse off the whole time.
Yeah, but that was shit.
You didn't like it?
No.
You might not like the beat or whatever. It's a slow song, but in terms of rapping, he was really rapping. That's that witty, introspective Drake that
it wasn't the best example of it because, like I said,
closer to what he's been
flows as
but obviously, you know what it is?
That.
Drake was very good at using half of why we like Western Roads is before he even comes in.
You
know what I'm saying? So he was very good at like getting the nostalgic samples, putting the sub filter on it, and then rapping on top of it, and it was perfect. That was his formula. So I just want more of that.
Just give me more of that.
I want to.
I think there's stuff like that, and like even Tuscan Leather, Look What You've Done, and songs like that. That are just like, as soon as it starts, like, you know what's coming, innit? Like,
you get the feel of it, and you're like,
The thing is, music, we have to, we're conditioned to like certain things.
Yep.
So, for example, if I was to go on that piano and play a C major, my mind would tell me that what's supposed to come after it is a D or an E or whatever it is. I can't just go from that to press like we've been taught that has to be followed by one of the following. So in music, I feel like we have to abide by those rules. Which is why you're not gonna get music that sounds a bit all over the place, or maybe drill music is the future because they're just throwing whatever key.
Don't do that. Don't do that.
Do you know what I challenge someone to do? Make a drill tune with a key change and good vocabulary, and I might like it.
Can you imagine the drill song with a key change?
asking for too much.
But you see what I'm saying? Like, give me some old of the new as well.
I don't think you're gonna.
No, we're not
ever. No.
I really do think that you're asking for too much there.
But that's what I want from new music. Give me some of the older elements
with a little splash. of
just give me some art. Like before, these songs, a single song used to take a whole day to make.
Yep.
And then an extra 2 days to mix.
Yep.
And then you see what I'm saying? But now, the man are booking 2 hour sessions, whacking out 4 tunes.
Yeah, that's
you know the level.
You know what you're gonna get. You know what you're gonna get from that. Everyone's trying to get to the North London derby, so we're gonna kind of wrap early.
I want Tottenham.
I don't have a tune this week.
I got a tune.
We need them like out of the equation.
I'm done with the season anyway.
Fair enough.
There is a tune I want to play, but it's very.
Can I go first since we was talking about drill music?
Oh God. Yeah.
It's like a kind of like what we kind of was talking about in terms of old with a bit of new.
There we go.
How do I work this? Just plug it in.
Plug it.
Yeah.
It's off Carns' project.
You know, I need to listen to the project because I've heard 2 or 3 songs off.
Have you got a tune, Dan?
Really like.
No, what is this? Like a tune? Just any tune?
By preferably an unsigned artist, preferably UK, but some of us go over the river from time to time.
I go over the river all the time. There ain't enough shit here for me to fuck with. So.
Oh, that's not very. That's not true.
There is stuff.
There is stuff.
There is stuff, but
so
there's not that much that's not heard or like that I haven't discovered.
Do you know who I really wanted? Can I play 2 songs, please?
Go on then.
No, I'll come back to the other one after, but like it's something that I feel we need to share.
We need to keep them under a minute.
Under a minute,
well,
yeah, cool. This is off the Carns Hill Separation Confirmed album. Yeah.
Are these new songs?
They have to be. Just
doesn't have to be new.
It doesn't. Just something that people don't necessarily know. It don't have to be new. It could be old. Like I'm just playing all old shit for a while, specifically.
Yeah, it's called Real Savage featuring Decky, K-Trap.
Jeez.
Yeah, K-Trap's been getting out there. if you need to, you can turn it up on the top as well.
SRV separation convert.
So you only see the look on my face, isn't it? Huh? So you can only see the look on my face, isn't it?
For them, you said that I words and the pussy that I said. Why not stop until something is dead? Yeah, left on the pavement. Ask them wish God I got save them. Tell them I'm not afraid and no wine and at all. Rise up machine for them ends we are walk. Bust gunshot, man, fly them a ball. Tell them say no, we're not afraid and at all.
The words of Charlemagne, nah, that's not it. That's definitely not it. That's not it.
I'm trying to work out what's happening. I'm trying to work out what's happening.
You lot are mugging me.
Yeah, we are.
Do you know what it is? Yeah, I actually like the fact that someone hasn't done the Afro swerve on a trap type beat. Like I come from a household where it was Regu's revival ragga, innit? So hearing that type of flow for me, it just brings me back to 1994 when I heard Buju.
I hear that.
So it might not be for everyone. Clearly,
It's
you lot don't
definitely not.
dig it, but I liked it. Innit? But
That's
yeah,
cool.
That was K-Trap, and I think Decky was the little yard man spitting on it still.
It's amazing.
Fuck you, man. Go ahead, Shakira.
I'm gonna let Ash go.
They just washed me, like washed me, completely watered me. It's cool. I'm gonna bring some smoke for you next week. You know, I ain't even playing that other song now. You got me in my feelings.
I don't think I want to hear it.
It sounds a lot better in my car.
We're all good
This
over
is in
here.
a weird place today. But
Trust
I'm
me.
gonna take it all the way.
It sounds a lot better in my
This
car.
is a chilled out one. This is the girl I mentioned last week, Carlitta Durand. I don't really know why she hasn't been making music in recent years, but this is a little like jammed out neo soul vibe. Let me what's it called?
I know it's a bit contradictory after all of that.
Have a little chilled out vibe. I don't need this yard
mine's
stuff,
very chilled
man.
out too.
And I'm thinking, baby, are you thinking what I'm thinking? This deadly disease make me miss you. My old memory fades into my new issue. And love is no problem. I swear I got issues. Does that make me superficial if I shock through my issue? Not because I can't really admit to my problems, but I got a thing for products. Plus I ain't got problems. Money ain't an issue. Damn, I'm superficial. Love murdered Cupid when he caught me his pistol. A heartbreaker. Why we not together? Shit, I can't really remember something, but I never listened. One day after the other, had a few extra lovers. I was caught up in the covers. I was caught up on the covers. Text messages, locks on the iPhone. Excuses and lies were lies told. I was useless. You were photogenic. Found a picture in my phone and I swore I never sent it. You pretended you wasn't offended when really you wasn't intending on us ever ending. You had a badge, never leave. If you ever cheat, I'll stay too. Picture me. Occupied by you.
I've got to stop listening to that, but
English.
No, she's American as per usual for me. She's from North Carolina. She's been around for years, but she ain't really put much out. She had like an EP. You know those ones when you're in a camp, so you just do the features for everybody in that camp's projects. But then she only put out her own EP a few years ago. I don't even know what's happened since then.
Yeah, so I'm gonna play a song. It's really, really mellow, guys. It's called "Don't Fade." It's by Jgrrey.
Huh?
Oh, yeah.
See, I've had some feedback back on our picks. A couple people said they've been beefing up their Spotify libraries from our picks.
They won't be this week.
Not from yours. I like this already. Did you say Jgrrey?
Got 2 R's.
Blues the way you make me feel these days.
You know, this is a feel that I always bring.
Yeah, proper barefoot music.
That's my stump, guys.
Blue and silver, pink and red, all the things we said, and I
I love stuff with those kind of samples, like them 30s, 40s
samples. But yeah, she everything that she does has like a kind of jazzy feel or that
Good.
kind of.
That's a vibe. I like that.
But yeah.
Dan, do you have anything for us?
Yeah, I must have, innit? I'm in the studio. How do I connect to that?
You can just plug it into the headphone slot, or have you got?
He's got one.
I can Bluetooth it.
Aha.
Oh, have you got the thing? Yeah.
I feel like it has to be someone from
iPhone
here.
and shit, man. You Apple guys should still be like.
Alright, I'm probably gonna play. In fact, let me play something that no one really heard, I don't think, from Wstrn.
This is what I was hoping for, something nobody really heard.
Yeah. It was on a mixtape that kind of went under the radar that they just dropped kind of independently. And it's a good mixtape, man. It's a good tape. It's called Wstrn Season. And the tune I'm going to play is called... Which one? I'm going to play RSVP. And they don't even like... They're not the biggest fans of this, but I like
What's
this
happening? What's the deal with the guest list, man? Because I've got a couple things that want to come through and come, you know, vibe.
This just sounded waffle.
Vibe with the man them. But they just want to know, like, what's the deal? Like, if they're on the guest list, do they have to pay? If they do, how much is it on the guest list? Just let me know. What's the deal, man? Let me know.
Even though you see me gleaming with a necklace, I'm still the reason why you're coming to my party trying to be up on the guest list. Interesting, nigga from the Western, even the doorman knows he only lets the best in. I turned up with my soldiers, came to turn up this hobo, they know it's all rounds on me tonight. Let's get this party started now. What more can I ask for when there's no kind of gal up on the dance floor? I need to get in, but security's doing my head in. I'm like, I got a table, me Charlie T want an angel, but it's like they don't wanna know. This is my local club on the street, tryna get a shorty in with me. Find me on the RSVP. We gon' pop these bottles. All my homies starting on these models. Pull up,
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? These lot obey the rules and do their thing as well.
Baby, you'll never forget this night out. Turn it up, put liquor in my cup so I can never forget this night out. I'ma make you feel so good, so good.
What's that fade out engineer stuff?
But yeah, thanks Dan for
thanks for having me on.
Shakira, I'm not gonna take your limelight. Go for it.
Interact with us guys on the Twitter, on the Insta. Use the hashtag Beats Rhymes Life Pod. Use the hashtag. Yeah. So thanks for listening, guys.
Peace.
We're out. Peace. Love and pom pom.